Ni hao, it's RJ with week number 6. Wow, we're already there, week number 6. So today we have postures 11 and 12. So before we get to it, I just want to talk a little bit about the practice. If you really enjoy the practice, then I want to do as much as I can to encourage you to keep moving forward, because I know what the practice has given me. It's made me healthier, happier. It's a very nice thing to have as a hobby, if you want to look at it that way. It gets you outside practicing, meeting people when you practice in the park. So I want to encourage you, if you ever lack the motivation, and I go through it myself, to practice, then typically what I do is I just say to myself, well, I'm going to practice maybe for 5-10 minutes. And usually what ends up happening is I end up spending an hour or even a couple hours in the park practicing. So it's just getting started. You know, we have this thing to get started is the difficult thing, but once we get moving, we enjoy the practice. So just words of encouragement there. So we'll start this week. We'll go through all of the postures you're familiar with. We'll start with feet together, hands by the side, and we can start with our eyes closed and just take a moment to relax before beginning. Okay, so open the eyes and we can begin open Tai Chi. Part the wild horse's mane. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee and step forward. Block, parry, and punch. Appears close up, followed with a push. Single whip. Play the lute. Repulse the monkey. Fair maiden weaves at the shuttle. So there we are. So we'll run through that one more time, and then at the end I'll just keep going with the next two postures. So open Tai Chi. Pot the wild horse's mane. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee and step forward. block, parry, and punch. Appears close up, followed with a push. Single whip. Play the lute. Repulse the monkey. Fair maiden weaves at the shuttle. So there we are. That's the next two postures. So we finished here last week, fair maiden weaves at the shuttle. So that, again, that was the first time that we went off that center line. So now we're going to get back on a straight line. So we finished here. Our first posture puts us back onto a center line, and then we continue on that center line. Now I want to show you something that's going to make your job easier. When we finished last week, we were looking at the front right corner. Your right leg is forward. Throughout this whole lesson, your right leg is going to remain forward the whole time. So we won't be stepping through. The right leg will always remain to be the forward leg. So when we're facing that right front corner, we step up with the back leg, step out into empty stance. And then from here, we just move the body forward into mountain climbing stance. So I'll show you that again. As you can see, that front leg remains the front leg the whole time. We step in the direction of that corner of the room, then we face the center of the room on empty stance, and then we continue moving forward into mountain climbing stance. So our first posture is called needle at sea bottom. In Chinese translation, Hai Di Jen. So in our white crane spreads its wings, we're in empty stance. The posture that we take for needle at sea bottom is exactly the same stance. The same leg is forward. As you can see here, we go into our white crane. In needle at sea bottom, we're here. So the legs remain the same as white crane spreads its wings. So we're in empty stance. So again, what that means is the back leg, the toe is pointed at a slight angle, the front toe is pointed forward, and when you build up the leg strength, there will be no weight in that front leg, thus the name empty stance. So this will be our posture, and as you can see, my back is straight, I have a slight bend in that back leg, and the front leg, again, is just resting on the toe. The front leg also has a bend to it. So I'm not stretched out, but I even have a bend in that front leg. So that's our empty stance. Now what's happening is the right hand is going to brush the knee, just like in our brush knee posture. The hand will come down and brush the knee. So that remains the same, just like brush knee and step forward. The other hand will be a little bit different type of movement. We start out just like our brush knee. As the low hand brushes the knee, what's going to happen to the high hand is it's going to poke forward. So the fingers are actually moving towards the target, moving down at a slight angle the palm will be facing to your right. So I'll give you this angle here. The hand starts up high. Now what happens is I bring the hand into my body, just like we do in brush knee. I relax the shoulder and elbow. Now, my hand moves on a diagonal. So I'm not moving straight down and I'm not moving forward, but I'm moving at a diagonal going forward. And you want to think of poking with the fingertips. So the hand is opened up and I'm poking. So I'm starting high and my hand is moving down as the other hand brushes the knee. So this is the full expression of the posture in needle at sea bottom. Give you different angles here. I'm in empty stance. I'm not leaning forward. My body's not leaning forward to do this maneuver. I keep my back straight and I just stretch out that high hand. Comes down. So this is our posture, needle at sea bottom. The right hand, just like brush knee, is on the side of the body, the palm facing the ground, the fingers pointing forward, and then the other hand, the left hand, the palm is facing to your right, in front of the body. So I'm not to the side here, but I'm in the middle of my body here, the center line, as I poke down. So now to get into that, well, we start facing the corner of the room from last week in our Fair Maiden Weaves Up the Shuttle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that back leg and step in to the other leg. So what that's going to do is the heels of both of the feet are going to be close together and the toes will be angled out at a slight degree. From last week when we did our Fair Maiden Weaves at the Shuttle, the front toe was pointed to the corner of the room. So when we step up, that right toe continues to point to the corner of the room and the other toe points at a slight angle. So we have this configuration here. The heels not together, but the heels facing each other and the feet pointing out. So we're here in our Fair Maiden Weaves at the Shuttle. We step up. So now, just relax the low hand, relax the low arm. Turn the body to your left as though you're going to do brush knee and step forward. So we just go from here, we step up, relax the low arm, and then just bring the hands by the side, just like in our brush knee. So I'll give you this angle here. I'm facing the corner of the room. I step up, my body turns a little bit to the side here, and I'm here. So again, just like our brush knee, the left hand is not behind us, it's on the side of us, and it's relaxed. The shoulder's relaxed, the elbow is relaxed. So I go from the front corner of the room, I step up, I turn my body to the left a little bit, and then I'm here. So my left arm is stretched out, and then the other hand is somewhere around the elbow. So from there, we just step forward into empty stance. The low hand brushes the knee as the other hand comes into the body and we poke forward. So we can go through that a couple of times. We start by facing the right corner of the room. We step up, turn the body slightly to your left. So now the low hand is by the elbow. So at this point you can relax the left hand, bring it into the body. Now we step forward on the right toe, brush the knee with the right hand and poke down. So I'll give you different angles. I'll give you a back view. I'll give you this angle again. So we just step up, turn the body a little bit to the left, and we can look at the left hand. Bring the left arm into the body so the hand is close to the body. Step out on that right toe. Brush the knee with the low hand, and the other hand pokes forward. Again, keeping the back straight. So there's also a little bit of a waist turn here. So I step up, my body turns a little bit to the left, I relax the left hand. I step out on the right toe. Now when I brush the knee and poke forward, I turn my waist a little bit to the right. So I start from here. Now when I poke and brush the knee, my body turns a little bit to the right. It's a very slight movement. So we face the corner of the room, the right corner of the room. I step up, and remember the feet are angled out at this point. I turn my body to the left, and I look at my left hand. I can relax my left arm at the elbow and shoulder. I can step out on that right toe. My body turns to the right a little bit to allow the high hand to move forward. And again, as always, there's a little bit of a bend in that left arm. When I poke forward, there's still a little bit of a bend in that left arm. And just like our brush knee, there's also a bend in this arm. So again, if you're having trouble because the legs are not strong enough just yet, then what you can do is you step up. Instead of stepping out on the toe, just place the foot flat on the ground and move the body forward a little bit so you have equal weight on both legs. And then you can poke down and brush the knee. And then as that back leg can get stronger, then eventually you can have the empty stance that we talk about. So that's it. We step up, turn the body to the left. The right arm is anywhere around the elbow. The left arm relaxes, bringing the hand into the body. I step out with the right toe and needle at sea bottom. So again, we're going from the corner of the room. We're now moving on to a center line. that we're going to move forward on a center line. As I mentioned earlier, the right leg will always remain the front leg in this whole lesson. So from last week, our fair maiden weaves out the shuttle, I step up, the right leg steps forward into empty stance. And then from here, we get into the next posture, mountain climbing stance. So that right leg remains forward the whole time through this lesson. So now we get to the next posture. The next posture is called fan through back. So this is the full expression of fan through back. In our Chinese translation, Shan Tong Bei. So this is very similar to fair maiden weaves out the shuttle. We look back at fan through back to the left corner of the room. The hands are almost in the same position as the posture we're about to approach. The difference is the other leg is forward. You'll see, as you start to play around with this, you'll get to see how they're very similar, except the other leg is forward. So here, we're in mountain climbing stance. Our fan through back. We take a mountain climbing stance. The right leg is forward. The same hand is pushing forward. So again, I want you to think of our push, how we push forward. So mountain climbing stance, the right hand pushes forward. Again, nice bend in the elbow. Keep that elbow from flaring out. Keep it tucked into the body. And don't cover your vision. Be able to look over your fingertips. So we're pushing forward. Then the other hand, just like our fair maiden weaves out the shuttle, how we have one hand protecting the top of the head. Same thing here. We're in mountain climbing stance. The left arm is protecting the head as the other hand presses forward. But what you'll notice is, if I take this posture facing the camera, my toe is pointed to the camera, the back toe has a slight angle to it, my fan through back, my high hand is almost to the side of me. When we do our fair maiden weaves out the shuttle, the hand and body, they're almost one above the other, facing the same direction. Here, it's almost like there's an object coming down at you from the side. As you move forward, you're protecting the side. So from this angle here, the arm, the high hand, is on the left side of my body. My body is moving forward. My torso is forward, but that high hand is almost on the side of me. But if I look up, I can see the back of my hand as the right hand presses forward. So I'll give you this angle here. We're in mountain climbing stance. The right hand presses forward. I have a good body posture. The high hand is above the head, protecting the head. And we're here. So now to get into that. So let's start from last week. Our fair maiden weaves out the shuttle. We step up, turn our body to the left. Now relax the left arm, bring it into the body. The right toe is placed forward on the ground, and then we go into needle at sea bottom. From here, we're going to step forward into mountain climbing stance. At the same time, bring the two palms together and raise them up to about eye level. Now take the left hand and just pivot outwards so the palm faces out. Now just separate the two hands. So from our needle at sea bottom, my two palms come together and I bring them up to about eye level. The left arm rotates so the palm is facing outward. I separate the two hands. The left hand goes high. The other hand stays exactly where it is. I step out into mountain climbing stance. The forward hand presses forward slightly. And there we are. So we'll start with needle at sea bottom. Bring the two hands up to eye level so the palms are facing each other, touching each other. The left arm rotates so the palm faces outward. Separate the two hands, step forward, and the forward hand presses forward. But again, keeping a bend in the elbow. So again, keep a good posture. When you move forward, we're not doing this. It looks like a very large movement. It looks like you're doing more than you really are, but it's the whole body moving forward at the same time that forward hand presses forward. So in an actual fluid motion, it looks like that. So from needle at sea bottom, we're here. So again, keep the body straight the whole time. Needle at sea bottom, fan through back. So again, we'll start from the beginning, facing the right corner of the room. So we step up, and then look at our left hand. We relax the left arm, step forward on the right toe, and needle at sea bottom. Bring up the two hands so the palms touch each other. The left hand rotates out so the palm is facing out. Step forward into mountain climbing stance, and the right arm presses forward. So we go from needle at sea bottom, and again, keep the torso straight. So from needle at sea bottom, when you move forward and press forward, keep the body straight, the torso straight. So we go from the right corner of the room, we step up, prepare for our needle at sea bottom. We're on a center line now. Bring the two hands up, palm to palm. Rotate so the left hand is palm outwards. And now move the body and the right hand forward. So I'll go through that a couple more times without any instructions. So that's it. You can, of course, I always like to mention this, go right on the video and slow the speed of the film down. May help it, make it a little bit easier for you. So I just want to give you one small detail. when we get to this point here, so I've been telling you from needle at sea bottom to bring the two hands so the palms touch each other before we go into fan through back. I just want you to get used to that idea where the hands have to go. The hands come up eye level, the left hand pivots out, and then the body moves forward. So the detail that I wanted to give you is when you bring the hands up, don't bring them palm to palm. I just wanted you to get used to that action of bringing the two together before separating. Ideally, what you want is from needle at sea bottom, the hands come up and the low hand actually comes at the wrist instead of touching the palm. So from needle at sea bottom, the two hands come up and the right hand is touching the wrist. And then we separate. So from needle at sea bottom, we come up. The left hand pivots out, palm out, and then the body moves forward. So that's really it. That's all the instructions I can give you on these two postures. It's just a matter of playing with it, and also play around with the idea of a fair maiden weaves at the shuttle and how similar it is to fan through back. It's just a matter of changing legs and a little bit of a adjustment with the hands, but play around with that idea. So that's really it for this week's lesson. Keep playing around with the movements, you'll get them. If you've come this far, you're going to make it through the whole thing. You'll have the whole form in a matter of no time. Again, I know this practice has given me a lot, so I want to encourage you as much as possible to keep moving forward. So please leave me comments, let me know how you're doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Have a good day. Take care.